Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Alan and you're in the shop with Front Page Fab. And tonight I am working on getting fans put back in the Ranger. So I bought two fans. This is it's what they call an auxiliary fan. And it is pretty good RPM, but there are others that are way better. Now, as I explained, I think in a prior video, I got a little heating problem with this high performance engine in the Ranger. And so what I'm trying to do to solve it is I took out two fans and I'm putting in two fans. Okay, so I know you're thinking, Paige, you're an idiot. You took two fans out and you're putting two fans back in. If two fans didn't solve your problem before, two fans aren't going to solve your problem now, right? Right, you know, I mean, I know. I've been thinking the same thing. And there's many times I've said, Paige, you're an idiot. Let me explain. So, how I had it set up originally was I bought this, I don't know what you call this style of blade, swirl blades or Osher blade, I don't know what to call them. But I bought this and it was supposed to have been pretty good RPM for a little 12-inch fan. Unfortunately, it didn't work. I mean, it worked, but just not as well as I wanted as a pusher. It worked fine with the motor I had in it before. Let's put it that way. I had no problem keeping it cool. With this new motor, with more compression, bigger cam, the heads, we did not spend any money porting them because they're just GT40 aluminum equivalents, basically. Motorsports heads. So I was like, I ain't spending any money on them. We'll just get them cleaned up, we'll deck them. We'll just smooth the transitions, nothing serious, and port match the intake. We'll call it good. So that's what we did with the new motor. So I had this fan already in there. It's a 12-inch fan. I do not know the brand. I'll get it out in a second. It does have a part number. I'll have to Google this part number that's on here. See if I can come up with it. It's a 14-5012 RF2. That's what the part number is on the fan. There's no brand on it. Well, I guess it does say tri-pack, but anyway. The other thing I did to kind of hedge my bet with the old motor was, I think I mentioned before, I'm in IT, work on networks and servers and all that good stuff for a living. And I had gutted out a couple servers and junked them. And every once in a while I'll keep some fans. I don't know why, just cause. Maybe I thought I could use them for another server, but they didn't work on any new server. So what I did, I had 3 of them, and they're 12-volt fans. DC 12 volts. Each fan draws 0.62 amps. Pretty low current draw, but they actually move an amazing amount of air. So, but anyway, I put these on the back side as polars because that's the only room I had to put a polar fan in was these little things. And they work, but they were very loud, noisy. But, so, fast forward to the new motor. On cooler days, you know, like 82, 83 and colder, it worked. But it still kept it just a little bit warmer than I would like. So I decided to do something about it. So the only way I could fix my problem is because I have these as pushers, not polars. You got to put them on the front. So let me show you. Here's the problem with them in the front. see if I can do this. Adjust this down a little bit. So in the front, as you can see, your opening is basically from here to here and here to here, okay? And then there is between the valance and the bumper, there is an opening, and then down here, there's an opening right here. Now earlier I had a license plate on here, nice sexy chrome Ford Racing license plate, but thinking, well, I need to get all the air in there I can get, I went ahead and took it off for now. So when I started looking for new fans last week, I was looking at Permacool. Now, they seem to rate all of their primary fans very high, 27, 28, 2900 RPM or CFM. Do they put out that much? I don't know, I doubt it. For a 12-inch fan, I doubt it. But I'm not gonna call them a liar, I don't know, I'm just saying, I doubt it. Nobody else has anything comes close to it, so something seems sketch to me. Anyway, so I called and talked to Permacool and questioned him, and he told me to put a primary fan in instead of auxiliary fans. Now, because of the space I have here, and you can see there's this center support, it holds the latch and kind of stabilizes the middle front so it doesn't twist when you shut it. I was kind of limited in what I could do. So what I did end up doing was I did go ahead and buy, and I just realized I messed up. Oh well. I did go ahead and purchase their 12-inch primary fan, they call it. And I do notice some nice differences on it. I should have started this before I installed it, but let's see if we can try and show some of it. So what you see in there is the primary fan. And one thing you'll notice is this is a pretty thick wall. It's a good two and a quarter inches, I'm going to guess, without tape measuring it right here. And all your auxiliary fans, you'll notice they all taper down to a fairly thin wall, blade section. So what I'm deducing from that is if I have a thicker sidewall here and a good strong fan, I can create more static pressure to push air through. That's my guess. I'm no expert on this, so you take that for what it's worth. And then the other thing I did is I put a primary fan in here, and then I've got a secondary auxiliary fan I'm going to install down over here towards the bottom. That way I get some airflow straight through the cooler here up in this area. I've got it so I can get some air down below the primary fan and around it. So hopefully between all that we can get enough air flowing through there to better cool this beast. Now one cool thing with the Holley Sniper setup that I discovered as I was installing, I'm sure somebody already knew it, but you know, hey, I'm learning I'm new to it. So cool thing with the Snipers is you can have fan 1, fan 2, and you can program them. All right, I want fan 1 to come on at whatever, 180, 160, 170, whatever you want. And so let's just say I want it to come on at 180, and I want it to shut off at 170. And then I can program fan 2 to say, all right, I want that one to come on. If my first one's coming on at 180, there's no point in having fan 2 come on just yet. So let's make it 190. I'm just, do whatever you want. I'm just throwing some numbers out for conversation. And then you can have it shut off. If you had the other one shut off at 170, you could have that one shut off at 175. You know, whatever trips your trigger, whatever works. So that's my game plan here. Put the primary, have it come on, and then I'll have to take the secondary and I'll have it come on. And yeah, and then we'll see how this works. So that's the plan. I've already installed the primary. Well, I've got it in from the front, and I'm getting ready to do the secondary, and I'm going to do my best to film it. It's kind of a little dark in there. I'll see if I can get some lighting set up so it's shine some bright light on there and set it up. So what I've done is on the primary, I forget which one it was. I'll put a link to the part numbers that I did order. One of them came with an installation kit, okay, and one didn't. I forget which one it was. Which one came with, which one came without. Four Seasons. Oh, so it was the small one. I think it was this one that came with it, or came with it. Anyway, I had an extra one. I like to keep an extra one around just in case. I've actually had that. I've had this one in my cabinet for years. So I knew I had it. So rather than buying another one right now, because I didn't want to spend any more money and I had to at the moment, I just took the one out of my store, my parts supply, and we're using it. So what you do on these bad boys to install them, if you don't know how, so these parts kits come with basically three components. Your first component is the actual zip tie, and you'll notice it's round. You can see that in here. It's round instead of flat like a regular zip tie, and then it has this nice big surface area on the back. You get 4 of those. Then you get the disc that goes on the back side, and you get 4 of those. The other thing you get is these little rubber, neoprene rubber, whatever they are, and they got a little stick them on the back. You get 4 of those. What you're going to do with this is you're going to take your little neoprene rubber things and you're going to put them on the back side of your mounts. And what this is for is just to provide a little vibration protection for your fins so they don't get tore up as bad. So that's what I'm going to work on next. We're going to get this one pushed through, get all the zip ties pushed through the AC condenser. And then once I have that done, then we'll go around. I'll get the camera set up back here on the back side of the condenser, and we'll go ahead and put the backs on them, and then we're ready to wire them. Nice thing is I already had fan 1, fan 2 wired and set up, so the wiring's already there. I just got to get everything tapped in and set up, so it should be a fairly quick deal to get done. So stay tuned, be right back. I'm going to get things turned around, get things set up, and see if you can follow along. So as I'm putting these pads on, they've got adhesive backers, and they have holes through them. So what I like to do when I do mine is I peel the adhesive off. Sometimes it's easier than others to get the adhesive off. And then I take the hole and I try and line that hole up into the middle of the mounting hole here. So I'm going to do that. We're going to put that about like so. I just kind of push it just to get.
Show played and I think that it's over. Through the crowd as I move for the corner. On my phone, fingers scroll through the faces. 25, why can't I hold a conversation? This is my party and I'm stressed out. Turn the music down. I'll try to forget about the things I wish I never said. Yeah, it's hard to live here in my head. Lights are way too bright for me to talk to anybody. I'm trying to find the feeling that I'd rather be dead. Yeah, it's hard to live here.
Alright, so I got all those on. Thanks for sticking with me. So So what I'm going to do now, good old trusty rusty side cuts. Well, you know, they're not rusty, but, you know, figure of speech. Now we're going to cut the excess off of these. And it's real simple. You just go right up, butt them. I put my side cuts right up against the lock portion of those discs, and I cut. And then I'll show you a little oops that I just did. Nothing too serious, I'm hoping. You never know. So when I put the auxiliary fan in, I was trying to get it down as close to the bottom as I could. And something I'll show you here, I have to create a seal so that no air can escape from the pusher as it's going through the AC condenser and into the radiator. I put these little rubber, it's a rubber sealant, like seal strip, whatever, on all the way around the condenser. And then that closes the gap up to the radiator. Well, down here at the bottom on these two, they actually poked holes right through those rubbers. So I was afraid that they may rub, so I went ahead and cut out the rubber down here so it would hopefully be below, and then pushed them down so they'd be below the rubber. So I'm hoping I don't have any trouble with that when I go to put the radiator in. Actually, I may go ahead and put the radiator in just so that we can rule it out and be 100% positive that we're not going to have an issue. Huh. I just noticed I had a screw come off. Interesting. All right. So let me grab the radiator. And then the radiator. It's okay. Now we get to put the belt back on. Yippee-ki-yay. I will get my screwdriver and my handy homemade bracket. So what I did, this is a stock Ranger radiator for a 4.0 V6, mid-90s I believe, automatic transmission with air conditioning. So it's as heavy duty as I can get it. And like I say, it worked just fine on the first engine, or first iteration of this engine, it just not on the second. So, so my bracket that you just saw me set down here, it's just something I whipped up. Works, and it works well. Holds the radiator right where I need it to be, and that's all that matters. All right. Now, my upper and lower radiator hoses, in case anybody wants to know about those, I made them from these stainless kits that you can buy from Summit and Jegs. It was the only way I could find that worked well. It worked real well, actually. So I got them cut, formed. It really does work quite well. Some guys say they've had trouble with them leaking. I have not experienced that. That's all. I mean, I can't Can't say I never will. I'm just saying I personally have not experienced it. Yeah, I got lucky. Man, that just don't happen very often that I get lucky. But the rest of you guys, but it's usually a dadgum fight for me. All right, so radiator's in. I just got to put the hoses on, tighten them back down. That's good to go. Serpentine belts on, and now I'll work on my wiring. All right, guys. Hey, about ready to wrap it up for tonight. Got to get up to the house and do some stuff for my wife. You know, happy wife, happy life. You know what I'm saying, guys? So anyway, so I just cut that little connector off, and I'm going to get my my connector kit out with all my Deutsch, or I'm going to use WeatherPack on this. WeatherPack is not made for very many insertions, they call it. So with this fan, hopefully I don't have that many insertions. I do it once and done. I'm hoping. But I do like to use connectors instead of butts or anything like that, because you know, you never know, you may have to unplug it. And this makes it easy to unplug it and rewire it. So that's stuff I like to do when I'm doing my wiring. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to run off a battery here, just so usually black is your ground and blue or red or whatever is your hot. Since I'm doing these as pushers, I think I've got to run my positive off my battery to the black, and in this case the blue to the negative of the battery. But we're going to test it before we find out, after we get it all buttoned up and done and everything, that we did it wrong. So that's coming up. Stay tuned. Appreciate you watching along, following along with me, and man, please be sure and like and subscribe, and do that, and leave your comments below. If you've got a tip to improve what I did, I'm all ears, and make sure we can pass it along. So have a great one.